design thinking is just the beginning of creating successful human outcomes, and ultimately designs in the service of creating human progress. I'm Tim Kobe. I'm founder and CEO of 8 Inc. We're an internationally recognized experience design firm. If you're looking to design an experience, you need to place people at the center of the decision-making process. The human part is ensuring that we recognize that it's really about establishing a relationship between people who want to connect with other people. And the experience part is really the connective tissue. It's the part that brings those things together. And we typically look at ways that we can create a much more distinctive experience if we're looking to differentiate within a competitive environment, but also a way to create stronger emotional connection. The reality is people connect and engage with companies who define an experience that's meaningful to them, that adds value, and that demonstrates an understanding of a relationship. So you're moving fundamentally from a transaction to a relationship with any type of experience. For us, where we find the most satisfaction is when we have the ability to have the biggest impact on the people who are ultimately connecting with the company. Steve hired us in 1997 when he came back to the company, and we were fortunate enough to work with him every week for maybe the next 12 years. And in creating the white paper for the retail program, he looked at things, I think, really in two ways. And I think this is really where genius lives, is that he could look at something and run through a logic tree and understand if there was a bust in that. He would then switch to more of the emotional or intuitive side, and ultimately he would be looking at it and say whether, does this feel right or not. The ability to look at solutions that have broader impact is really essential. And I think if we try to say, was Apple more important than Virgin, then I think we're sort of losing sight of the fact that it's ultimately about the experience that people have with those companies. What you're doing is you're looking at something that creates meaningful experience for people. And if you're able to do that correctly, these can be problems that address any number of types of engagements. We've applied this across education. We've applied this across the ability to serve people who are in a traumatic situation. But the idea that understanding the human outcome, what's at the core of the objectives, has to be the starting point, and ultimately delivering against them. There's a huge opportunity in government services from the standpoint that there's inherently a number of silos that ladder up to a disconnected experience from the user's perspective. Today, there's an enormous amount of resistance to success because that engagement can't be seen in a single touch point or across a number of different potential services. In order to design something sufficiently for this, I think the focus on a clear and simple, coherent interface is critical. It shouldn't be acceptable to stand in long lines. You shouldn't have to be able to go places to do these services. Many of these functions are being resolved in far more efficient, far more user-centric ways in other technologies and other applications. And people today expect a similar type of experience when they think of engaging with government functions. A feedback system is essential for any technology to be meaningful. If you're solving for a mobility condition, or you're solving for other types of complex ecosystems, having a feedback loop with the people who are using it every day is the best way that I can think of to shortcut disconnections and to create much more compelling advocates for the experience that you've created. If you think of designing human experience, you're looking at transforming culture, you're influencing the way we evolve as people, and design should really be in the service of progress for humanity.